Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
I'm Dan. I'm gonna enjoy this glass of water while we record.
Oh, that delicious glass of water.
So good.
I have those same glasses at my house.
You do. Yeah. I remember that. Last time I was there, I was like, we have these glasses.
They're great. They're just wide enough.
They're very good.
Yeah, they're great.
So, if you're wondering if this is a drinking glass review show...
It's not. You don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
We are a video game news podcast broadcasting every Friday from 7 until 8 usually, but we get started later because we always inevitably run into something wrong.
It's just tradition at this point.
Exactly.
I'm doing air quotes when we say 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.-ish.
So
can we get them to put that on the website?
I can put that on there.
You should put it on there.
I'm going to put it on there.
7 p.m.-ish.
Ish.
Every Friday night. I mean, it would probably be more honest.
It would be more honest. We're about honesty here at Don't Copy That Floppy. So, we're also about video game news. That's what we mostly talk about.
Mostly.
And if you want to listen to our old episodes, you can either go to chipit.net, and we have a show archive on there, or you can subscribe to our iTunes. In which
Tell me more.
Oh. Do you want to hear more about our social media, Dan?
I do. I really do.
All right. Well, you can find us on Facebook at Don't Copy That Floppy. Please like us on there. You can find us on
Facebook. Spectacular. What an idea.
Yep. You can find us on Twitter at DCTF Podcast, so follow us on that.
Terrific. Just terrific.
And you can also join our Steam group, which is called Don't Copy That Floppy, and you can follow us as a curator on there.
You can watch me play Rome Total War, the second one.
Are you streaming it?
No.
You can stream
I
through
can.
Steam.
There's a big Twitch button.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm playing, I'm like, I don't need to Twitch my barbarians.
Don't
Nobody needs to see what they do.
They do horrible things.
Carl and the Skull Crushers.
Don't Twitch him. Carl needs to keep calm.
He does.
When he berserks, it's no good.
It's no good. Those Celts know what it's like now.
So, Dan, what have we got for stories this week?
We're going to talk about Major League Gaming and esports. We're going to talk about why games are released broken nowadays. Talk a little bit about Sony and their very, very tragic...
life.
What? Their tragic existence.
On the internet. Their tragic existence on the internet.
Little stuff about Microsoft, and then a bunch of articles just about upcoming games that were either known, or I think most of these were known about, or games that released recently that we have little stories about. Then we'll probably end with, we'll talk about games that are going to be released soon, within the next couple weeks, and then, sometimes we do a little game review. I don't know if you've got anything to review.
I have not been playing any games lately. I feel really bad about it.
I'll do a sort of review of some games I've been playing.
All right.
Recently.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, we'll do that. Our reviews are either for new stuff or old stuff that we like and want to tell people about, or a little bit of both. Like kind of just anything that strikes our fancy that we want to get out there.
Oh yeah, that's something that is actually really good for us to clarify, because I remember when I was telling my friend about this show for the first time, I was like, yeah, sometimes we do game reviews, and he's like, oh, you review all the new games? What kind of negative reviews do you give? And I'm like, we don't usually give negative reviews, because we don't review games that we don't like.
Yeah. It's pretty apparent what games we don't like when we're just talking about the news.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
So that's
Watch
another
Dogs.
thing, like, so,
Remember Watch Dogs? Does anybody remember Watch Dogs?
No, they've already all forgotten.
Anyone.
Nope.
Anyone at all.
Nobody. But yeah, so that's why a lot of the stuff we review isn't necessarily new releases.
Yeah.
It's
more things that we want people to know about.
Yeah, so we actually even skew toward lesser known older games.
Yeah.
Usually when we do reviews.
Yeah. And just kind of drum up some hubbub about them. Get people to notice them.
Yeah, it's like all those Kickstarters we talk about.
I know. I didn't find any good Kickstarter news this week.
What?
We usually have some, but the only Kickstarter news I found was like, Kickstarter made a lot of money last year.
Well, that's not surprising.
That's news.
There is news on a Kickstarter thing that I've been following, but it's not a video game.
Oh.
So I can't talk about it.
Bummer. So, what do we got here? The University of Pikeville. What are they up to?
University of Pikeville, Kentucky, announced on December 19th, which is admittedly a little old, but I haven't been... Like, I was reading stories in online game news sites this week about it, so I don't know why they just took longer to pick up this story, because it's obviously, like, kind of old.
It's relevant.
But they announced on the 19th that they are doing game scholarships specifically for League of Legends. This is sort of a follow-up to a story we did a little while back about the Robert Morris University.
Yeah.
Doing scholarships
for League of Legends.
So now it's the University of Pikeville. Yeah. Robert Morris, also the University of Kentucky, and Duke.
People are picking it up.
Yeah. The list is growing.
People don't even care about Duke's football program anymore. Now it's all about League of Legends.
But people still care about their basketball. I follow that basketball. Come on. So what's also kind of interesting about this, which I did not read about when I was reading about the Robert Morris stuff a while ago, but I think is really important here, is the Collegiate Star League, CSL, which is an intercollegiate gaming league open to all accredited colleges and universities in North America.
When were they founded?
Probably.
How long have these people existed?
Probably not that long.
I was gonna say, this is a thing already.
Well, all these colleges kind of need it.
I guess, yeah.
So I'm glad they exist, because otherwise it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's see what they've got on their website. They have division.
They even have division play, like Division 1 and Division 2.
Yeah.
My goodness.
They've got...
This is really turning into something.
Ooh, look at all this.
I don't want this garbage support from Division 2 players. They can't heal for crap.
I know, right? Jesus. They don't know whether to go mid lane or go high. They don't know.
There is healing in League of Legends, right?
I have no idea.
Uh-oh.
We lose... Our one person listening is like, they don't know what they're talking about. Turned off the podcast.
Oh, no.
No, actually, on this collegiate website, Collegiate Star League website, they got a lot of schools listed, although I assume, like, these schools are not all giving scholarships, but they're all participating.
Yes.
And there's, like, quite a few schools.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting in on this. So it's starting to look like this might stick around.
Dude, Harvard's got a team. They're 7-1.
Of course they do. They're nerds.
That's true. Where's MIT on this? MIT better be dominating.
MIT's too smart for League of Legends.
They already programmed another game to play.
Yeah, they programmed a better game.
Then they programmed a robot AI to play the game for them.
Damn it, MIT. So yeah, esports. I mean, what we talked about last time when we talked about that other article about Robert Morris was the viability of this as a big source of revenue
for the schools. Yeah.
And Robert Morris seemed to think it was a really good idea, and now it seems like a lot of other schools are jumping on it too.
It's catching on.
So back then, both of us said, I believe, that we felt like if people bothered, like if people actually looked at this objectively and saw what was going on with it, and tried to get into it, it could be a great big success, and it looks like people did.
Yeah.
Because it's looking like it's going to be a big success. We'll have to see how it goes when they do their first whole season of it, I guess.
That's how it works. They, apparently they're supporting StarCraft 2.
Yes.
League of Legends, obviously, and Dota 2, which is the same game.
I hope they put StarCraft between League of Legends and Dota. As it, like in the big, stadium, so that the Dota and League of Legends players can just, glare at each other from across the stadium.
You know that's what happens.
Yeah.
But this is cool. So more scholarships, and obviously, as we talked about last time, these students are expected to maintain a certain GPA.
Yes.
And all the things that go along with a normal scholarship.
If you're smart and like League of Legends... So let it go to one of these colleges. Why do I always yawn so much when we do this show?
It's not even... We used to do it at 9, and now we're doing it at 7, and you're still tired. Jesus.
You want to go to school for League of Legends on League of Legends $. Apply for one of those scholarships.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Play video games. You don't have to be a cool jock to get a scholarship anymore.
You can be a lame jock now.
You can be a lame jock now.
Excellent.
The other kind of jock. Like a robot jock.
Oh! When that happens...
I'm going to apply for that scholarship.
Yeah. They'll be like, I'm sorry, sir, you're 45. I'm like, I don't care.
45? I'm already dead. I'm a robot jock. And then no one knew what I was referencing.
Thumbs up.
That movie's terrific.
So, speaking of game tournaments, though.
Yeah. Guess who's got a freaking championship for $1 million?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. The COD Blops.
The 3rd annual Call of Duty Championship. So this is from MajorLeagueGaming.com, which I didn't know was a website.
I did know that.
And this was posted on January 8th.
Yes.
And, so the 3rd annual Call of Duty Championship, presented by Activision, Sledgehammer Games, and Xbox, in partnership with Major League Gaming, which is apparently more than just a website, and international esports partners, returns to Los Angeles from March 27th to 29th. I'm just reading the article at this point.
Yeah. But this article is about the qualifiers for the championship, which are teams from 5 continents.
All over the world!
All over the world!
When is Antarctica getting it on this list? Jesus, guys, get it together.
One of those guys down at the resource station is a beast.
They got a penguin backup player. He's great.
He's really good.
If they weren't so racist, they may team him.
January 17th through the February 8th are the qualifiers, starting in Singapore and ending in the United States, where we will find out who is the best of the best. Will we go into the championship?
Oh, god damn it, stop yawning.
I can't! I don't know why it's happening. I wasn't yawning at all before we started recording.
It's not water.
If you want to register for these, like if you're really good at Call of Duty, go onto this website and register it.
Yeah, you don't have to be a pro gamer to register for this.
Yeah, go to it.
Yeah, so you can
make these qualifiers, do it.
You'll get smoked if you're not a pro gamer, but you can still attempt.
Yeah, why not? Gotta start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the more interesting parts of this to me, because for all intents and purposes, this looks like a regular Major League sport.
Right.
But the big difference is, you don't have to be a pro athlete to compete in it, unlike every other Major League sport.
Yeah.
So, that's really cool to me.
Yeah. Like, Joe Schmo can't just walk in and be like, I'm gonna play football with the Patriots now. I mean, he could, but he would get arrested.
He would get arrested if he ran onto that field.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good his victory dance was.
It doesn't even matter if Brady throws it to him. He'll still get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
If Brady sees him and is like, this is what I needed. We can win now. Thank you, sir.
All I can think of right now, and I know this is a stretch, but all I can think of is Space Jam, when they're playing and then Bill Murray's like, you guys, you gotta put me in. You gotta put me in.
It is kind of like that.
It's a little bit like that. He was great at basketball.
He was. So, let's talk about broken video games.
Oh, yeah.
The numerous broken video games that get released nowadays. We've talked about this a lot in the past few weeks.
Yeah, and on December 8th, Sutra.
It's like Kama Sutra, the book about having sex.
That's what.
But this is like a book about having sex with games.
Erogenous gaming zones. Game of Sutra. So this is a blog post from Game of Sutra that's been getting reposts on the internet. Kotaku was talking about it a lot.
Kotaku took their news because they didn't have any of their own.
Kotaku doesn't know what they're doing. But this is actually super amazing. You should check it out.
Yes.
Mainly because of this graphic that they made, which explains everything.
Yep.
It doesn't apply to all games.
The never-ending cycle of low-quality game releases.
Yeah, the vicious cycle of releasing low-quality games. So, it starts with aggressive development goals set, which leads to developers being pressured to meet cost, scope, and date goals.
Yeah, which is hard. You gotta find, you gotta make the game within the costs you're given by your shareholders and your parent company if you have one. And then they always give you, a date where it's like games got to be out
very
by
strict
now.
timelines. Yeah,
And within that timeline, it may be unreasonable with the budget you've been given too. You don't have enough staff. You can't pay your staff to work enough hours. Any number of things, and it doesn't take into account possible hiccups along the way, where something with development goes wrong.
Some sort of glitch that's really difficult to fix.
Yeah, some sort of super game-breaking thing that comes up late in development.
So that ends up leading to the quality compromised to hit goals.
Or, like we just said, say there's a glitch late in the game, it's so close to release, they're like, we don't care, release it anyway.
Yeah. Which leads to an inferior game shipped.
We can look at Assassin's Creed Unity as our prime, most recent big example of this.
Oh, yeah.
That game had so many glitches.
Which then leads to game performing poorly in the market. Now, this is the one part of this graphic that I dispute.
And I was going to bring up the exact same
thing.
thing.
And the only thing that I find slightly misleading about it, because...
generally, these games still sell really well.
Yeah, very well. Destiny, Assassin's Creed Unity, Watch Dogs...
Yeah.
Actually, Destiny wasn't super broken. It has a lot of glitches, but you could play it. But the other two...
It has a lot of exploits, but it functions more or less, I think, as it was intended to. It did not meet some of the promises that they
this is true.
had for it, but the game functions well.
Yeah, whereas with Assassin's Creed Unity and Watch Dogs, like, those games really didn't work.
Yeah, they were riddled with glitches, including some game-breaking stuff.
But they still sold extremely well.
Yeah.
So, okay. But let's... So we're already giving the caveat that this does not apply to all games.
Yes.
But it does apply to a great majority of them.
Yeah.
So assuming that game performs poorly in the market...
Then the stakeholders pressure the business to do better.
As you would expect them to.
Yeah.
And which then leads to aggressive market goals set.
And we've all seen that crazy marketing around games in the past few years. Of just like, it's all marketing. Like, half of these games' budgets go into marketing.
The hype machine.
It's crazy. Destiny is a perfect example of the hype machine.
No. Just because they got Paul McCartney to write a song for it.
Oh my god.
There was no... They're very humble in talking about Destiny.
Did you know Paul McCartney? That's the artist that was discovered by Kanye West. Recently,
yeah, just recently.
Isn't he?
So that his work on Destiny is like one of his first things.
One of his first things. He just got right into it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really glad Kanye found such an amazing artist.
People are so stupid. So aggressive market goals set, the hype machine. And that ends up leading to where we started. Aggressive development goals are set.
Because then they have to match up to the marketing, and you just can't.
Then the pressure gets put on again, and then quality's compromised again, and then the inferior game ships again, and then the game performs poorly again, and then the shareholders get pissed again, and then they set more aggressive market goals again, and there we go.
The people at the top of this cycle don't seem to really get how the rest of it works. Like, these shareholders don't know how to make a game.
And I don't expect them to.
No. But...
Well, all they really... And we've actually done stories on Nintendo that prove the opposite for them. Which is probably why Nintendo still rocks so hard. But for a lot of these game companies, the shareholders are just shareholders. They're not gamers. They just, are concerned with their stock portfolio. They want to make money.
Exactly.
And I don't necessarily begrudge them for that, but at the same time, like, you're a shareholder of something that makes a creative medium.
Right.
So you really... It's not like you're trading, like, oil stocks. It's kind of different.
It's...
And what I keep meaning to do is try to compare sort of the way shareholders are, see if I can find some articles to compare the way shareholders are for video game stuff and the way they are for, like, movie stuff.
Right.
Because that might be an interesting comparison to do. Stay tuned for later episodes, which I might actually do some research. But I think part of the reason they especially don't for video games is because the industry is, like, comparatively a lot younger. And the sort of titanic growth of the industry is also even more recent than that. I would say the sort of money that the game industry has been making didn't really balloon until after 2000, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even a little more recent than that. So you've definitely got a lot of sort of
I want to bring up a little thing about the whole game performing poorly in the market part of this, too.
Okay.
Because we said these games sold a ton.
Yeah.
A lot of these, like Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, sold an unbelievably huge amount. However, this article actually cites specifically another game, which is Tomb Raider, the Square Enix one, which failed to meet sales expectations despite selling 3.6 million copies. So part of this is the game performing poorly in the market in the eyes of the people in charge. The newest Devil May Cry game, DMC Devil May Cry, the one that I hate, that game was expected to sell 5 million copies.
Whoa.
I don't think that game's broken 1 million yet, as far as I know. So this kind of goes to show what this part of what the problem here is, too. Is it's not even that the game isn't meeting sales expectations, it's that the sales expectations are insane.
Yeah.
For some of these titles. So that could be a part of the problem as well. So even though the game is performing well, it is not performing as well as the people in the background behind the developers want it to. So ergo, it is not adequate. And they need to work harder. The article also says developers get the short end of the stick here because they're forced down this road of making the game fast, making the game good. It's completely unreasonable, and then when the game comes out, they are the ones who are blamed for the low quality product, rather than someone else.
Can I point something out about Devil May Cry?
You
or
can.
The new Devil May Cry?
Yes.
Because I just brought up the sales numbers for all of the Devil May Cry games.
Yes.
None of them have broken 3 million.
Okay.
So the fact that they expected 5...
Yeah, what's DMC here? DMC on the PS3 is just about 800,000. DMC on the 360 is just shy of 400,000. So its total sales, it has broken 1 million. But you compare that even to the earlier games in the series, like the first game is just shy of 3 million. Devil May Cry 3, between the regular and the special edition, has actually broken 4 million.
Oh, that's true. I didn't count the special edition there.
So you look at the original games and see those great sales numbers, because those games I don't think were particularly high-budget releases either. They didn't have a ton of money behind them. Like, they had enough.
Yeah.
But back in the PS2 days. But then the game was handed off because they needed it to appeal to a new market, and then this happened. This like reeks of like a stockholder decision.
Oh, totally.
They're like, Devil May Cry is a great franchise, but it just doesn't appeal to a wide enough market in spite of these sales numbers. So we need to retool it and make it appeal more broadly. And then this happens.
And then they set the sales numbers really unrealistically.
Really unrealistically.
If you look at the
game was
sales,
announced, that most of the Devil May Cry game sales were about the same as they are now.
Yeah.
For the past games in the series, which are good sales numbers.
They are really good.
But not good enough for you to say, we're going to retool this game series and release a new reboot of it and expect 5 million sales.
That's crazy.
It's madness.
Madness.
What are you doing, Capcom? Like, so that's a prime example. And Capcom, I think, is actually, unfortunately, because I like a lot of their series, I think Capcom is a pretty bad offender when it comes to this as well, as unrealistic sales expectations and abandoning franchises when they don't perform to those unrealistic expectations. I mean, about the only thing that's still constant for them is Monster Hunter, because Japan just loves it.
Yeah.
So
they have those solid sales figures from Japan, so they just keep doing it.
they just keep doing it. Yeah. How will this cycle be broken? We may never know.
Well, one of the things that Kotaku cites, and don't put a bunch of credence in their opinions because they suck usually, but
whatever.
But one of the things they talk about is something we've talked about before on the show, and it's that you should stop pre-ordering games.
Right. And that's part of it, because right now all those people are driving these sales based on pre-orders.
Yeah. So if pre-order games, if people stop pre-ordering games, it would actually give...
It requires the developer, or the people making the game, to make sure that's a better product when it's released.
Yeah, that's
the pre-order.
The hope,
the pre-order kind of thing is you pick the game up on release day, and you've given them your money.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if
it doesn't matter
if
the game's broken or not.
Yeah.
So next time you want to pre-order a game, think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it. And, some developers you're pretty safe from because they don't have a track record of shipping busted games. Even some of the bigger ones right now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, From Software with the Dark Souls games.
Mm-hmm.
Those both had a ton of hype and hubbub behind them and were really pushed forward, and they were fine on release day.
Oh, yeah.
They worked great.
And anything from Blizzard
anything from Blizzard is usually great. Anything from Nintendo.
BioWare typically is fine. They've had some problems.
Some hiccups a little bit, but no, Dragon Age Inquisition, from what I heard, had no major issues on launch.
And that is a prime example of a modern AAA title
Definitely.
that had the shit hyped out of it.
Right. You compare that to Assassin's Creed Unity, and any problems on launch for that were minor.
Yeah.
But
it's
Ubisoft have been big offenders of this lately, except at the same time, Far Cry 4 released completely fine. And Assassin's Creed had all these problems. So even within Ubisoft, there's some discrepancy here. Far Cry 4 is a really well put together game.
One thing we should note about Assassin's Creed, though, that I think is probably important, is that their release cycle of it is one a year now.
Yes.
So this is probably a good example of that taking its toll on the franchise.
Right.
But what's interesting, just real quick before we move on to our next thing, when I talked to a bunch of people a while ago when we were doing our first story about how you shouldn't pre-order because it's bad for the market. That was a couple episodes ago. And a lot of people, I actually was surprised at how many people didn't pre-order. But one of them, and he was a guy who had read a lot of these different articles. He knew how damaging pre-ordering can be, and he was like, I never pre-order. And I was saying, didn't you tell me the other day that you pre-ordered Inquisition? He's like, yeah, because it's Inquisition.
So people make exceptions.
People make exceptions because they love these franchises, and I can't blame them, because if it's a franchise you love, then yeah. But
I mean, there's another side of the pre-ordering too, which is that if you pre-order somewhere like GameStop, depending on the popularity or significance of the game release, you're not even going to get a copy if you don't pre-order.
Well, this is
and I
true.
don't mean that as in the new Call of Duty game came out and we sold every single copy on day one, so you can't just go pick one up. I mean obscure Japanese RPG number 43 is releasing, and the store is not even going to get a copy if you don't pre-order a copy.
You mean Heaven's Soul Blade Symphony Ex Machina number 2?
Swimsuit edition.
Swimsuit edition. That's the special one.
But yes, exactly. That game, you really want that game, but they're not even going to get a copy if you don't pre-order it.
That's true.
And that's just how it is. I mean, even for Monster Hunter, it's big in Japan, catching on over here slowly but surely. Still not that big, but I wouldn't count on being able to find Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate next year, or this year now, when it comes out in stores, unless I pre-ordered it.
Oof.
It's hit or miss with this stuff. And I feel I wonder how much the pre-orders hurt those games. Those lower profile releases.
Yeah.
Because in the case of high profile games, yeah. We've seen enough examples of this fucking with stuff that we can be like, I don't know. But with the lower profile releases, does pre-ordering possibly help them? Because it guarantees that they're selling more copies.
What?
Playing the devil's advocate a little bit here.
The devil may cry advocate.
The devil's may cry advocate. Because I know that I play a lot of games that are not exactly AAA, and I usually pre-order them because I doubt my ability to find one if I don't. I mean, look at something like The Wonderful 101, which was released as first-party thing. That game could have used a lot more push for pre-orders. Because, I mean, yeah, it probably still wouldn't have performed great even with the pre-orders, but there was no marketing for that game. It only sold 200,000 copies. And that game had a AAA budget. And plays like a AAA game, and it's finished.
And it works!
It works! It's amazing! But that game, had no marketing behind it. So in some cases, I think this marketing for pre-orders can help a game. It's just, it needs to not be so oppressive and all-present with AAA stuff. Or at least the stuff that everybody kind of knows is going to sell already. I don't know. I did play devil's advocate a little bit, but I think we've said all we're going to say about this today. feel free to go on our Facebook or our Twitter or anywhere else and chime in about this.
Yeah.
About what your thoughts are on these pre-order issues for big games, small games, all sorts of games.
We appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, and whether or not you pre-order and why you do or do not pre-order and all that.
Did you just tune in? Are you thinking to yourself, man, these people are so wise?
Yeah.
Okay, probably not. But what you are listening to that isn't chiptune music is Don't Copy That Floppy, a weekly video game news podcast broadcasting on chipit.net Fridays from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Dan, you want to talk about some of our social media?
I do. Not. No, we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook. Don't Copy That Floppy. We're on Twitter at DCTF Podcast. We have an iTunes page that you can subscribe to. Don't Copy That Floppy. And we're also on Steam. We have a group and have a curator thing going on there, and that's also Don't Copy That Floppy. So you can find us all over the place, or you can find us right here on chipit.net and listen in. Let's talk about some Sony news.
Sony!
We're getting to our company-specific news now.
This is also a little bit of an update to a story that we did.
Yes,
kind
it
of.
is. And I know you talked to me about this earlier this week
yes.
as well.
So
this had come out.
A while back, we did a story about Sony's PlayStation Now service that they were talking about.
Did they announce this at E3? Was that when this was first announced?
Yes, but the story that we did was specifically about, I think, a leak.
Yes.
Of their pricing.
Yes.
And it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Wasn't that the one where it's like you can rent the thing for 4 hours?
Or 90 days.
Or 90 days?
There was some stuff in between. But yeah. And it was like for 90 days it would be like $30.
Yeah.
And for 4 hours it could be like $5 to $8.
Which is ridiculous.
They're both ridiculous numbers. Because like if it's a game that's not new, you could probably buy it used for less than $30, and then why not buy it instead of renting it for 3 months?
Most titles, yeah.
And if it's a game that is that you're getting for a couple of hours, that's like a lot of money to pay for a couple of hours to like barely play any of the game.
And depending on the game, like what are you really going to be able to do in 4 hours?
Yeah, you better not try and play a JRPG like that. But so it was bad. It was real bad. And part of the reason why Sony was saying that it was like that is they were saying like, oh, well, you know, we're letting developers come up with their own prices for it. And that's why there were a bunch of different time chunks of pricing, and there were a lot of different numbers, and they didn't seem to all make sense together. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, and you also shouldn't have developers do that. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about supporting developers and having them get the amount of money that they need, but, like, having a model set up like that is super confusing and does not
it's
work.
Going to take you forever to figure out the final form of it.
So, in an article from Forbes from January 5th, we have new news that PlayStation has announced about PlayStation Now and their subscription model. Oh, I should also note, for those who don't know, PlayStation Now is the service that they're going to be introducing soon where you can stream games.
Yes.
Specifically PS3 games on your PS4.
So when we're talking about renting this thing for a certain amount of time, it's renting the ability to stream it through your PlayStation 4.
Which is great technology, and I'm very excited about.
Yeah. So what's their final subscription model, or their new subscription model?
Now, they mention in this article that the other really bad model also will exist, and it will be like you can choose, because they don't want to take that autonomy away from developers, but I feel like just like 90% of the time you're going to choose the model PlayStation is presenting here, which is either $20 a month or $45 for 3 months. Of just being able to stream games from the library of streamable games. Right. And
that's better.
It's significantly better. It's actually kind of a bargain. Yeah. I mean, it won't...
It depends on how much time you have to play games within that month, or...
And what games are available to stream.
Yeah.
Now, initially, I think it's less of a bargain because less games are available to stream. They have 100 plus titles, and they have this image that has a bunch of different game covers on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a high-resolution copy of this image, so I can't actually read most of the games.
I got The Blob 2, you got
several God of War games.
Alpha Protocol, El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron.
Ooh, XCOM is on here. That game's great.
Infamous, Darksiders, Red Faction Guerrilla, Eco Shadow of the Colossus Collection.
Some Lego games.
Yeah, I mean, they got some pretty good stuff on here.
Infamous? Did you say Infamous?
I did say Infamous.
Oh, okay.
Uncharted, Bioshock Infinite.
Blaze Blue is on here.
Blaze Blue, The
Hot
Walking
damn.
Dead. If you want to play a fighting game for just a month.
For just a month. Or just 3 months.
Just 3 months. Sonic CD.
Wow.
Sonic CD.
That was
What's
not
that doing
That was
here?
not for PlayStation 3. I don't think.
So there's a good selection of stuff here. Guacamelé's on there.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
That's weird that that's on there because it's just a download title anyway.
Yeah. But people liked it a lot.
I mean, yeah, it's good.
I think it's more that they were trying to make a list that had like a certain percentage of indie games and a certain percentage
Kane
of
and
AAA.
Lynch 2, Dog Days.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think after this, if this service does fairly well and expands to like several hundred titles or like 500 or 1,000 titles, then $20 a month is like super worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is great. Good job, PlayStation, for getting your junk together.
Let's hope that when this debuts on the 13th of this month,
very
soon,
that
soon, it works.
Should we just jump into the next article?
We should jump into the next article from there.
Let's ride this segue right into the next article.
Because guess who got hit with outages again? PlayStation Network. Oh.
Yeah.
So an article from January 7th on Polygon. PlayStation users are experiencing connectivity with the PSN yet again. In a statement on the official Twitter account, it was confirmed that engineers are currently on the case. Likewise, their support page shows that it is experiencing heavy network traffic. So this is a continuation of all the stuff that's been going on since Christmas with them and the groups of self-styled hackers that have been trying to claim responsibility for taking down the PSN and Xbox Live on Christmas Day.
And it's the same group of hackers that have been doing this for a while.
Lizard Squad.
Lizard terrorists.
They're doing it. They previously claimed credit for the downtime on both PSN and Xbox Live last year. They're still doing it. They just keep doing it. So maybe PlayStation Now won't really be so good right when it launches.
Yeah, PlayStation Now. That's I guess the worry now.
I mean, if they're having trouble just having people log in because of the distributed denial of service stuff that's happening right now, there's no way a streaming service is going to work.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Maybe push that back a week or two, PlayStation.
Yeah, because I feel like they'd be better off delaying it now than having it go up and just not work for a week.
But that's just like buying a AAA title in today's market.
True.
So maybe people won't mind.
Or an MMO expansion on release day.
Yep.
It's become the norm. I mean, people complain either way, but... on that note, though, another Polygon article from today, the 9th, says that, where is this? Where's this company? I can't remember.
Linksys.
Krebs. Krebs on security.com says that the attack on Xbox Live and PSN by Lizard Squad was accomplished using a network of hacked consumer-grade routers. Krebs reports that their directed denial of service attacks were orchestrated using an as-yet undiscovered network of zombified computers recruited from thousands of hacked home internet routers.
Ooh.
So, in theory, they've basically just hacked a bunch of routers to be like a botnet for them to send stuff to PSN and Xbox Live to slow them down. Mm-hmm. And basically, Krebs just tells people, like, the thing you can do is just to solid up your own home internet security. Like, keep your router off of networks with other routers, like, so it's isolated. Don't let people give you the password so people can't just, like, grab it and log on and do stuff with it. Because people who know what they're doing can do stuff with your router if it's not protected. And the botnet isn't all routers. That there's probably a massive number of those involved, but it still can be running off of computers and other network systems as well. So it's just interesting that they've found some of these, like, they found that there was this network. Krebs said that they used the IP addresses of the Bosnian host of this attack, basically, to track down the home of Lizard Squad's botnet controller.
Yeah, that's another thing. After the attack on Christmas, arrests were made.
Yes.
Of these Lizard Squad people. So the fact that the network is down again because Lizard Squad is hacking them again. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no.
And there's a piece of malware that first appeared early in 2014 that is known to take control of home internet routers and scan the network for additional routers that it can latch onto. Has existed for a while now. So they may be using this as well, or some form of this software, to be doing this also and spread it around. So, a lot of it seems that it's sort of automated. So
Maybe they have arrested all of them.
maybe they have. It's just
It's
the
still running.
machines continue.
Oh no.
And Krebs found this stuff because they were a victim of an attack by Lizard Squad earlier this month. They
Yes.
They went back through all the info once they discovered the attack and tried to figure some stuff out. Because they are a net security company, so they probably know what they're doing somewhat.
At least someone figured it out.
Yeah. So the UK and Finland have both made arrests in the holiday attack. But yeah, and if you're interested, the article on Krebs, it's called Lizard Stressor Runs on Hacked Home Routers. And this is from KrebsOnSecurity.com from today, January 9th. And it's got lots of tips for home router security and stuff like that if you are paranoid about this now or something like that. So go check it out.
You should be.
And you should be, because Lizard Squad means business and they're not going away.
Even if you arrest all of them, their machines will continue.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about that, though, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I feel bad for PlayStation, but it's still really cool.
They got a real elaborate setup going on.
Yeah.
So,
What is
Microsoft. Microsoft.
Oh, you told me about this already.
Microsoft is hiring for top secret Xbox projects. An article from January 5th on Polygon. Microsoft's Xbox division has formed a new dev team, which the company says is working on top secret projects that will push the envelope of today's and tomorrow's technology as they explore new ideas from the ground floor. Radical.
Wizard.
So, but the Microsoft site has a job listing posted calling for software engineers on a position which the company claims comes with risks.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, but the project is based on some future iteration of the Kinect, but little other information is offered. It says that if they're passionate about the potential for Kinect to continue, blah, 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 and are a seasoned software engineer, they have a growing team who want to take entertainment into the future. So that it seems like joining the team comes with risks. Most of what we work on is top secret, adds the cryptic posting. You may not know what your new project is until you've accepted an offer. Not all ideas will fly. We will fail, and fail fast on some projects. So it seems like they're just trying to get a dev team together to try a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah.
And see if it works or not.
What's funny is that... So the Kinect, in some form or another, has existed for a while now, because it existed on the 360.
Yes.
Just not the way it is now.
Yeah.
So there's been motion tracking games that Microsoft has been making for years, and they're still putting together dev teams to just come up with new ideas, because they have not come up with an idea yet that's actually fun.
Yep. So they've been rumored for a long time now to be working on head-mounted wearable computing devices and virtual reality and augmented reality projects that may be related to the Xbox and the Kinect. So this might have something to do with that.
That might be cool.
But they flat out say, if you want a comfortable standard job at Microsoft with no ambiguity or risk, please don't apply. So it seems like they have a pretty good feeling that this team may just be disbanded not long after that it comes together. Because they're like, oh, this isn't going anywhere. Who knows? But if you are a senior software engineer and want to revolutionize entertainment
with the Kinect,
go and apply to this high-risk, high-yield career.
It's very high risk.
Yeah.
There's like a 10% chance
I like how the picture for this article is just two people standing there awkwardly. Assuming the position that all people assume when using the Kinect.
We also just have to assume there's a Kinect in front of them, because it's out of frame of the shot. There might not be. It's just two people standing awkwardly.
Maybe they took the picture, they're just like, you guys stand here and pretend you're playing Kinect. So they just stood there like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's how most people feel when playing Kinect.
And this guy's face kind of just says like, oh, this sucks. So yeah, so that's Microsoft. Now we have about 15 minutes left.
Yes.
And we have a slew of just news about some games.
Rapid fire game news.
Rapid fire game news. Polygon, January 6th. Star Fox for the Wii U is going to be playable at E3 2015.
Yeah!
Woo! That's exciting. So this article is mostly a video of talking with Shigeru Miyamoto about game stuff, but they have the important things are snippeted here. Miyamoto in the video, if you go to this article on Polygon, you can watch it. He talks about Pikmin, he talks about Splatoon, then he moves on to discuss Star Fox around 13 minutes in. It was announced last year's E3.
They talked about it at the Game Awards.
Yes, at one of the 3 projects that was intended to showcase the gamepad's real features.
Oh.
Which makes sense. I can envision some cool stuff with the gamepad for a Star Fox title. One of the questions, Miyamoto says, one of the questions that we often get is, how is the gamepad being used in any particular game? Star Fox is a game where having 2 screens is really important, and it works really well. Thank you for being so vague, Miyamoto. But I believe it. I think that that's a game where they could get a lot of mileage out of that controller.
Yeah.
The game still doesn't have a release date yet, but they said at the Game Awards that it will be releasing before Legend of Zelda on the Wii U, which we know is slated for late 2015. So Star Fox may be pretty close to release by the time E3 rolls around.
We haven't seen any screenshots or footage of Star Fox at all yet,
They've teased it a bunch, which makes me think they got something big in the works.
Those devils, Nintendo.
Yeah. And they know people want it.
Yeah.
It's been so long since a new Star Fox game, and with the new hardware and everything, they could do something really cool. So, I'm excited for Star Fox. Kingdom Hearts 3. 8 years too late.
8 years too late. From Video Games 24/7, the website.
Yes. On Thursday, January 8th.
Yeah, there was a little story about how Bill Farmer, the guy who is the voice of Goofy, and and all the Goofy-related things.
In all of our favorite Goofy-related media.
Yeah. And if your favorite is Kingdom Hearts, you're in for some good news.
Maybe?
Yeah, because he was talking about how he finished recording all of his Goofy audio for the next Kingdom Hearts game.
All of his hooks and gorshes are all done.
They're all done. And a bunch of people on Twitter kept pushing him about, like, oh, really? Can you tell us anything about the game?
Yeah.
And he eventually was just like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be out this year.
He thinks it's coming out sometime this year.
Because all the voice acting is done. So, already a huge grain of salt you should take this with, because he's not making the game, he just did the voice act. He doesn't know how long it takes to program it.
No, he does say they've been recording for it for the last few years, though.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
But he thinks it's coming soon.
Yes. The Kingdom Hearts fan base is hugely skeptical of this news, because they've been burned before. I'm going to reiterate, it's been 8 years since Kingdom Hearts 2. Maybe only 7, but I think 8.
Such a long time, man.
Yeah.
Are you sure Blizzard isn't making this?
I know, right? I don't know, but there's been so many releases in between of games that serve to do nothing but make the story more complicated than it needed to be.
That's true.
To the point that I loved Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and I don't even care about this game anymore. Because I didn't want to play all those stupid spin-offs, but now they're all plot relevant, and I'm just angry about it. Damn it. Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's not actually coming out this year. Like, I don't think anybody would. I don't blame the Kingdom Hearts fan base for being so skeptical about it.
Well, then, Square Enix...
I mean, it was formally announced 2 years ago. 3.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot.
Yeah.
It was formally announced 2 years ago.
We don't even know how long they've really been making it. Who knows?
But we know they have been working on it because of the voice recording that Bill Farmer says they've been doing.
Yeah.
So then Square Enix released a thing.
Why are they releasing Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox One?
The Xbone? Because it's the Xbone, Dan.
You can't play the other games on it.
It has the Kinect. It's gonna have Kinect compatibility.
Top secret Kingdom Hearts projects by Microsoft.
But yeah, so Square Enix released a response to everyone talking about that.
Yeah, which we found on Destructoid today, on the 9th. There's a pretty big commotion over the holiday break over some recent comments by the voice of Goofy. He noted that the game was coming out, Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out sometime this year, which he soon corrected to 2015. as far as he can tell. Square Enix actually said this week, saying that his comment was made in error and that the title remains unannounced. It is entirely possible that Goofy's lines were recorded early on in the process, and much more work needs to be done. Hopefully we'll get a date at E3.
Did they give the tweet that Square Enix sent out?
I don't think so.
There was a goof! That's what it said.
The release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 remains unannounced. So, that was lighthearted of them.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you thought that they were BSing that. That they're just trying to keep people in the dark about it still. But...
Maybe. Okay, I'm back to like 50-50. I was at 75.5, but
okay.
Because originally I was like, oh, well, Bill Farmer was like there in their studios with them.
Well, he was in the recording studio.
Yeah,
we don't even know if that's part of where the game's being developed.
Yeah. So my original thought had been like, he was there with them. Of course he would know. They just don't want to talk about it yet. And then I was like, oh, but he doesn't actually know how to program or how their dev cycle is really going for that kind of stuff.
Even if they're having to record lines over like clips from the game that looked complete, that doesn't mean anything as far as the game's full completion goes. Like they may have done mock-ups that he could record over, and to him maybe those looked complete, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Like who knows? Like I said, I don't even care when this game comes out.
The bottom line is we don't care.
I'm just so done. I don't want to play all the DS and PSP and other PS2 and Game Boy Advance card games and all the stuff that I would need to play to get up to speed on this plot that's so convoluted that I probably wouldn't even understand it anyway.
And the X-Bone Connect compatibility.
Need it. I just don't need this right now. I just want Bloodborne. Here's a little article also from Polygon on the 9th of a game that I want to talk about, because I don't think I talked about it before.
Yeah, I have no idea what this game is.
This game is terrific.
Oh, good.
This is an article about a game called D4, which stands for Dark Dreams Don't Die, which I must say is probably one of the coolest game titles I've heard in a really long time. So, this is a game made by Hidetaka Suehiro, who is a obviously Japanese game developer.
No.
Known for Deadly Premonition.
Oh.
A cult hit on the Xbox 360.
Well, yeah.
Have you heard of this game at all?
No.
It's definitely a cult game. This game is bad. It came out on the Xbox 360 and everyone was like, wow, this game is bad. But it's just that right kind of bad that has that impeccable charm to it. Super heavily influenced and derivative of Twin Peaks.
You told me about this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this is basically just a Twin Peaks video game.
Sweet.
And that's why it's so good.
I didn't realize it was a Japanese developer.
Yes.
I thought it was an American game.
No, it is not. And at the same time, technically, the game is a mess. A remastered version of it was released for the PS3 this year, which fixes some of it.
Some of it.
I mean, enough, I guess. But the game has just this amazing weirdness to it that you can't really find anywhere else. And that's why it kind of developed the cult status that it has. People are kind of like, this game's not good, but wow, is it interesting? Like, we want more like it. So, the developer goes by the nickname Swery. And Swery has said that, after this, Swery started work on a new game, which is this one, Dark Dreams Don't Die, which is being released on the Xbox One as a download title. And it's going to be released in episodes. The first episode came out back in September. There's still no word on when the second episode is due out. I believe the first episode's also free right now if you have Xbox Live Gold. Yeah, Microsoft's Games with Gold program. The game is available for free. So if you've got this, download D4 and play it. It's super different. It's super interesting. It's much more technically sound than Deadly Premonition. It's a very interesting little mystery, like sci-fi murder mystery game.
Are we talking is this going to be like Indigo Prophecy?
Yeah, but like good.
Oh, shit.
It's about a guy whose wife is murdered. And he has presumably he was shot by the killer, and has a bullet lodged in his brain. And because of this bullet being lodged in his brain, because this is a weird sci-fi fantasy thing, he can use objects like mementos of people that have memories attached to them to enter the memory.
Oh.
In like a psychic projection.
Well.
And he uses this to try and solve the murder of his wife. And all he knows is that the murderer goes by the name D. And like every character in the game has a D in their name. It's like attention is called to it. And it's just, it drives you nuts. But the game's got a goofy sense of humor, super interesting writing, the concept's cool and very well executed, and it promises to have some pretty cool thrills along the way. All I'll also say about it is it's really freaking weird. So be ready for that if you do play it. Like, it won't be like most things you see. Swery had a little article here, though, where he says that the PR people, when he was developing Deadly Premonition, said... because Deadly Premonition became such a cult hit, while he's doing D4, PR people were like, make sure you put in a bunch of stuff that'll turn into memes, like in Deadly Premonition. Because that's what we're going to sell this on. And Swery says, if you were told that, put more meme bait into your game, what would you do? Swery said he overcame it by rewriting the script 7 times, development-wise, and personally to overcome it, he just kept drinking tequila and believing that what he was doing was right.
Awesome.
So this guy's great. He also released an article that I believe is also on Polygon, of his favorite games from 2014 that he didn't play or finish. Games in 2014 that he appreciates but didn't bother playing or finishing for one reason or another. So, he's an interesting guy. And part of the reason I tell people to play D4 is I want people to look at it and get into it to guarantee that there will be more of it. Because I think it's a really unique, interesting title. And it actually uses the Kinect without sucking.
The Kinect!
It actually does use the Kinect without sucking, also. So...
Maybe that's the top secret jobs are working on Dark Dreams Don't Die.
Hell yeah. But yeah, really neat little game by a cool developer that deserves more attention than it got. Yeah, as far as I know, episode 2 is being made. There's just no date for it yet. But go support the first one and show your interest to make sure that there's more. Because I saw like the end of the first episode is super big cliffhanger, and I was kind of mad. So I want to see more.
So speaking of weird stuff,
Devolver Digital, what do they want to make?
You know. Okay, so
don't panic.
Devolver Digital is a video games distribution company that are responsible for such games as Hotline Miami, and Broforce, and also Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh yeah,
which I didn't know, but that's cool.
Interesting.
And they are apparently really big fans of a game that came out on the Dreamcast in 1999 called Seaman.
Little title called Seaman. If anybody doesn't know about Seaman, this is a game about raising your very own fish with a horrible man face.
Voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
This game's weird. This game's also super weird.
Super weird.
Yeah, you raise your Seaman to eventually release him into the wild. He finds love. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a weird game.
It was the perfect Dreamcast title.
It was.
So yeah.
How did the Dreamcast fail?
I don't understand. But yeah, so
you would speak with Seaman.
Oh yeah, it came with a microphone that you could clip into your controller.
It's like Hey You Pikachu, but way creepier.
Yeah, it is like that. Maybe, okay, we can bring the Kinect back up in a minute.
A sequel was released on the PS2 in 2007, which topped Japanese charts for 1 week.
Alright.
So Japan likes it.
Yeah.
Enough. So yeah, look forward to more Seaman. And on that note...
Well, I didn't say what the news was about that.
Oh.
So Devolver Digital...
There was more than just Devolver Digital wanting to make it?
Well, that's what they... Yeah, that's what we didn't say.
Oh, we didn't say that? Oh,
no.
My mistake. I'm sorry.
So Devolver Digital started tweeting, and they said, "Hey Sega, please let us nerds at Devolver Digital have the license to create a new Seaman game, pretty please." And then later they started tweeting, they're trying to make a new Seaman game happen over Twitter. And then later they asked if they tweeted the game developer and said, "Hey, if you still own the rights to Seaman, then let's make a new one." And then that game developer responded saying, "Hi, for smartphone?" and then Devolver Digital said, "Maybe PC or smartphone." So it's weird because it all happened over Twitter, so it's not necessarily credible. But like the people who own the rights for that game are like responding to Devolver Digital saying like, "Yeah, it sounds like a good idea."
Cool.
So maybe that'll happen, and maybe they'll get Leonard Nimoy again.
Yeah.
We're like running really low on time. In fact, we have like a minute left.
So in that minute, I'm going to do this really quick thing.
You sure you don't want to just save it to next week?
Yeah, I can talk about it really quick.
Yeah.
Because there's not much to say.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, Baldur's Gate, you love it. Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition just came out. They're super good.
So
you should
good.
play them. Beamdog, the guys who made that, or are doing it, just announced that they're working on... They've been teasing a mysterious Adventure Y game for some time. They just announced that it's actually going to be a new Baldur's Gate project set between Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Oh, dip.
And built in the Infinity Engine.
Yes.
So, if you like Baldur's Gate, which you, of course you do, it's super good.
It's so good.
Why would you not? Guess what? There's going to be more. And it's going to feel like the old games and everything.
Now, is this...
Awesome.
the Polygon is where you're getting this from the 8th.
Yeah, January 8th.
Is that screenshot from the new thing, or is that from the old
I
thing?
think that's an old thing.
Okay.
It looks like an old thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
is.
how much they're going to try and make
recognizing
it
the
look
characters,
like.
the portraits and stuff. It looks like this is just from Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. I'm pretty sure. So yeah. That's the last bit of news we got.
Exciting.
Cool.
Get pumped.
Why don't you take us out, Alex?
Oh man, you've been listening to Don't Copy That Floppy on www.chipit.net. We are a weekly video game news show podcast. We podcast on Fridays from 7 until 8 p.m.
Ish.
Ish. Eastern Standard Time. And you can find us, or you listen to us live by going to chipit.net and listening to their on-site player, or downloading a playlist file and listening in iTunes or Winamp. Or if you want to listen to past episodes, you can either go to Chipit and find our show archive on there,
Yes,
or
indeed you do.
Or you could subscribe to us on iTunes, where we also have a show archive.
Yes.
And you can like us on Facebook. Don't Copy That Floppy. We'd really appreciate it. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF Podcast.
Yep.
And you can join our Steam group and follow us as a curator.
Indeed you can.
That's all the important things.
That's what we got.
So thank you again for listening. And remember, don't copy that floppy. That floppy. That floppy. That